So we've talked about betrayal, and we've talked about how relationships don't work and what people can do to recover from them. But what goes into making a successful relationship?
Let's think. One of the things that occurs to me is, of course, this isn't rocket science. Everybody knows what they're supposed to do.
Right.
But whether people actually do it is another thing. And sometimes it's helpful just to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody knows that relationships aren't something that just happen. They're something that actually takes some effort. And once when I told someone that, they said, well, why should I have to work at my relationship? It
Right.
just should come naturally. And I said, I'm sorry.
It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that
exactly.
way. Yeah, no pun intended. It
Right.
doesn't work that way. That to maintain and nourish a relationship does take effort. You do have to nurture and nourish your relationship. So just to bring it down to a few basic points. First
Right.
of all, in line with some of the other letters we've received, you should absolutely have a conversation early on about what your expectations for this relationship are.
Of course.
Because
right.
people go in with such hope and idea about, oh, I now found the perfect one. But my perfect one may not fit with
Yes.
your idea of yourself.
Right.
So let's have a conversation about what it means to be in this relationship.
Sure.
But once we've had that conversation, there are also some practical aspects like, okay, now we're going to live together. How are we going to deal with money?
Right.
That's another place where people just fall apart because my idea of what your role is and my role is and how much we spend and how much we save can set up a huge set of problems.
Yes.
How much time do we spend with each other? My idea is that you should be at home every night at 6 and I'm your one and only, and your idea may be, hey, wait a minute, I've got friends out there that aren't your friends, and then I feel betrayed because you're spending all that time with your friends.
Right.
But you always had an idea that a healthy relationship meant that you would have some friends out there you'd spend several evenings a week with, and my idea of a perfect relationship is I'm your friend.
Right.
So again, it isn't a right, wrong. It's more about talking about that, keeping the communication open, and seeing those issues as they come up, not as a reason to bail,
yes.
not as a reason to fight, but as, oh, isn't this interesting? We apparently have a different idea here. Where can we compromise? And the most important thing is to make time for each other.
Yes.
Again, we are also stressed. We're also busy. We all have our e-readers, our computers, our tablets, our phones, and all of these things pull us away from our families and from our relationship. So how do we make room in all of that? If you and I are having dinner together and then you pull out your phone and start texting, you're not with me.
So part of it is about being available for your partner, to really be there when you're there. You know?
Right, and to make a place for some quiet time, some intimate time, making time to not just have quick sex, and we've done that 3 times this week, but to actually have time to be vulnerable to each other, to be close to each other, to have that kind of warmth and snuggle time. One time someone talked to me about the idea that we all have a skin hunger, that we need to be touched, we need to be caressed, we need to feel like our partner is there for us physically as well as living in the same space. So all of those things take time and attention, and I think that's the main message, is that a relationship takes attention, and it takes...
Like a garden kind of thing. You have to really nurture it. And So what you're saying is that people have to understand what the expectations are in a relationship. In essence, have the courage to speak up about something when it's not going the way that they want, so that they can communicate that and maybe figure that out.
And not to see differences as a reason to fight. A difference is something to be curious about.
Right.
And then to work through together.
Right.
That's part of tending your relationship.
I guess the thing that I would add to that is the idea that celebrating one another's joys in life becomes really important. I know the research on couples now say that that's one of the things that couples miss often, that they don't take time to celebrate the good stuff. It's like, oh, you got a raise, thank God, now we can pay the bill, but to really savor that a bit more, so that couples have something really joyous to celebrate. And the other side of that is to allow yourself to be vulnerable with one another, so that you can rest in the safety of the other person. And I guess that's really what we're talking about, to not only do these things so that you understand what the expectations are, have the courage to speak up about them, but to celebrate life and to allow yourself to be vulnerable.
One of my professors used to say that we should be each other's biggest fan. And
right.
Fans, go to each other, go to events. Fans write fan letters. So a note in the lunchbox, or right. A note on a post-it on the mirror in the bathroom is right. fun. Right. To think of yourself as a fan right. for your partner, and to have that come forward for you as well, is part of what builds the positivity in the relationship. So when the hard times come, you've got something to work with.
And I know you have a quote from Ogden Nash that you
want
to end on.
I love this poem. I just had to share it. Ogden Nash was a very witty poet, and he said, "To keep your marriage brimming with love in the wedding cup, whenever you're wrong, admit it, and whenever you're right, shut up."
Words to live by.